You spend your whole life giving time, giving love, giving everything you could to raise your children. And then one day you wake up and it's quiet. Not peaceful quiet, but the kind that makes your heart ache. You wonder, where did everyone go? The people you raised, the ones who once clung to your hand just across the street, now only show up on holidays, if that. But here's the truth most people won't dare say. Whether your children are devoted or not, your happiness, your peace, and your fulfillment cannot and should not depend on them. Not anymore. Because the older we get, the more we realize. Love can't be forced and attention can't be begged for. But dignity can be built from within. This video isn't about blaming your children. It's not about bitterness. It's about you, your life, your choices, your quiet power to create something beautiful and whole, even in a season where you feel like you're fading. Today, we're going to explore 4 life-changing things that every senior should do after 60, no matter what kind of relationship you have with your kids. These aren't theories. These are truths carved from the lives of those who chose strength over sorrow, intention over regret. So before we dive in, I want you to do one thing. Take a deep breath. Pour yourself a warm cup of coffee or tea. Find your favorite chair, the one where you feel most like yourself. Because what you're about to hear isn't just advice. It's a reminder that your story is still being written. You still matter. And your most meaningful chapter might just begin now. If any part of what I just said made you pause, then stay with me. Because at the end of this video, I'll share something that just might shift the way you see your entire future. But for now, I have a simple question for you. If you had to choose one guiding truth for your life after 60, what would it be? Write it in the comments. Or if you're not sure what to say yet, try this. After 60, I choose to live a truly fulfilling life. Your words might inspire someone else to do the same. And if this message is already speaking to you, take a moment to like this video, subscribe, and consider supporting the channel with a small super thanks. It helps us reach more people like you, people who still believe that life after 60 is worth fighting for. Now let's begin, because what comes next might just change the way you live the rest of your life. 1. Heal the bond with your companion or with yourself. Let's begin with something most people never say aloud, but feel every day in silence. After 60, the people who once needed you the most will begin to drift, slowly and then suddenly. Your children will move away. The grandkids will grow up. Phone calls become texts. Texts become silence. And in that silence, the question rises, who do I have left? The answer is powerful. Because the truth is, if you're lucky, you still have someone by your side. Not just anyone. The one who's been there through every messy kitchen, every medical bill, every sleepless night and Sunday morning. The one who saw you when you were young and unsure, and still sees you now, even when the mirror barely reflects the person you remember. Your life companion, your spouse, your quiet witness to time itself. But here's the catch. Just because you've grown old together doesn't mean you've grown close. I once heard the story of Harold and June, married for 43 years. At 62, they were both ready to file for divorce. They had grown tired, bitter, resentful. Years of unspoken words had built walls between them so thick, neither could hear the other's pain anymore. But then Harold retired. The house got quieter. The days stretched longer. And for the first time in years, there was no job to hide behind. Just 2 people, in the same space, with nothing left but time and a choice. And instead of walking away, they sat down. 2 chairs, 1 cup of tea, and silence. Then slowly, stories returned. Laughter, memories. They began walking together again, even just to the mailbox. They started asking about each other's dreams again, tiny ones like planting tomatoes, or visiting the Grand Canyon. They remembered how to love, not as young lovers chasing excitement, but as old souls rediscovering each other in the quiet glow of the evening. And maybe, just maybe, that's where the healing begins. Not in fireworks, but in forgiveness. But what if you don't have a partner? What if you live alone now? That doesn't mean you're empty. It means you have the chance to become your own most faithful companion, to treat yourself not as a burden, but as a soul worthy of love, care, attention. Some of the most peaceful seniors I've ever met didn't find that peace in someone else's arms. They found it in their morning routine. A journal by the window, a favorite movie rewatched under a cozy blanket, a walk through the park with a podcast. They stopped asking, "Who will love me now?" and started answering, "I will." Because healing isn't always about restoring a relationship. Sometimes it's about returning to yourself, giving yourself the kindness you gave away for decades, learning at last to be your own soft place to fall. So whether you're rediscovering your partner or meeting yourself again after years of silence, know this: love doesn't always come with grand gestures. Sometimes it whispers, it forgives, it brews tea and waits patiently on the porch. And that is where fulfillment truly begins. Now stay with me, because the second truth we'll explore is one most people ignore until it's too late. It's about the one thing that can protect your dignity, your freedom, and your future, even when love fades. We're going to talk about money, security, and the quiet power of saying no. And it might just be the most important thing you hear today. 2. Protect your financial and physical independence. But even love, no matter how deep or long-lasting, can't pay your bills or protect your freedom. And that brings us to the second truth, one that too many seniors learn far too late. Security is not selfish, it's self-respect. And after 60, protecting your financial and physical independence isn't just wise, it's sacred. Let me tell you a story that still echoes in my heart. Her name was Margaret. She was 74, widowed and soft-spoken, one of those women who wore pressed cardigans and still baked for her church on Sundays. She had 2 grown sons. One of them, Mark, lost his job and moved back home with his wife and kids. He told her it would be temporary, just a few months. She believed him. She gave up her bedroom. She signed over partial ownership of her home to help him refinance his debt. "It's just a formality, Mom," he said. 2 years later, Margaret was living in a shared room in a state-run nursing facility, not the cozy kind with jazz music and flowers in the lobby. No, this place smelled of bleach and loneliness. Why? Because the house she'd paid off over 30 years was no longer hers. Mark had sold it. "You'll be better off with full-time care," he said. She cried, not for the house, but for the realization that she had confused generosity with safety. And this isn't just her story. It's happening to thousands of seniors across the country. People who loved too much, trusted too easily, and handed over everything they built, only to be left with nothing but regret. So let me say this clearly, and from the bottom of my heart: loving your children does not mean giving them the keys to everything you own. Your home, your savings, your name on that title. These are not just numbers and papers. They are your freedom, your dignity, your ability to say, "I decide how I live and where I live." And the solution isn't about becoming cold or distant. It's about becoming wise, strategic, quietly powerful. Start simple. Keep your finances in your name. Talk to a lawyer or financial advisor you trust. Build a retirement plan that prioritizes your needs first. Explore gentle investments, low-risk bonds, CDs, or fixed income plans. You don't need to become a Wall Street wizard. You just need to ensure that the future you built doesn't vanish in someone else's hands. And if you can, live in your own space. It doesn't have to be grand. It just has to be yours. A space where your decisions matter, where your voice echoes in every room, not as background noise, but as the soul of the home. Because the older you get, the more sacred your independence becomes. And it's not just about finances. It's also your body, your routines, your space, your silence. Physical freedom is just as crucial. That means staying strong enough to walk to the store, to carry your groceries, to bathe without help. Because the moment you lose the ability to move is the moment the world starts deciding for you. But when you protect both your money and your body, something beautiful happens. You don't have to beg. You don't have to fear. You get to wake up each morning and say, "This is my life, and I still own it." So let this be your reminder. Independence isn't about pushing people away. It's about standing tall, even when no one's watching. And that strength, quiet and fierce, will carry you farther than any promise ever could. And next, we'll talk about the one thing that carries you beyond everything else: Not love, not money, but health. The one true fortune that, once lost, changes everything. Stay with me, because this next truth could be the turning point of your entire future. 3. Make your health your freedom. There's one kind of wealth that can't be stolen, taxed, or taken in a divorce. One currency that keeps its value long after the world stops watching. It isn't gold. It isn't real estate. It's your health. And after 60, your health becomes your true freedom. Because here's the truth. A healthy senior is not a burden. A healthy senior is unstoppable. Let me tell you about Clarence. He's 82, lives alone in a small home outside Asheville, North Carolina. Every morning before the sun warms the porch, Clarence laces up his old sneakers, gray and worn like his beard, and jogs 3 blocks down the road. Not because he's chasing youth, but because he knows what happens when you stop moving. The world starts moving on without you. After his run, he brews a strong cup of coffee, cooks himself eggs and toast, checks in on his tomato plants, and walks to church every Sunday in a crisp shirt he still irons himself. You can see it in his posture, in the way he opens his front door, not waiting for help, but welcoming the day like an old friend. His neighbors call him the strongest man on the street, but it's not because he lifts weights. It's because he carries himself with purpose, with power, and with peace. You don't need to run like Clarence, but you do need to move, because movement is medicine. Walking 10 minutes each morning, doing gentle stretches, drinking water before coffee, choosing real food over processed shortcuts. These aren't just health tips. They are small revolutions. Every small action says, I still value this life. Because your health isn't just about adding years to your life. It's about adding life to your years. When you stay strong enough to shower on your own, to go to the store without asking for help, to bend down and tie your own shoes, you keep your choices, your voice, your dignity. And if you've let yourself go for a while, that's okay. Today can be your beginning. There's a quiet strength in deciding, I want to feel better than this. Start with breath. 1 deep inhale, 1 gentle stretch. Make your body a home, not a battlefield. Speak to it kindly. Feed it like it matters, because it does. Your children might visit, they might not, but your legs will still carry you to the mailbox. Your hands will still stir your favorite soup. Your eyes will still catch the golden afternoon light dancing on your kitchen floor. That's not a small thing. That's freedom. That's grace. That's a kind of wealth the world doesn't talk enough about. And here's the secret. When you take care of your health, you're not just helping yourself. You're loving your family in the most powerful way. Because nothing lifts the weight off your children's shoulders like seeing you strong, clear-minded, and independent. It's the greatest gift you can offer, not needing more than they can give. So take care of your body not out of fear, but out of reverence. It's the only place you've ever truly lived, and it's carried you through more than anyone knows. Now breathe, because what comes next is the final truth. It's about finding joy when everything else has changed. It's about creating a life that feels full, even if no one else is around to witness it. And it might be the most healing truth of them all. Stay with me. We're almost there. 4. Build a life beyond your children. And now perhaps the most tender truth of them all, one that's hard to swallow but necessary to live fully. Your children are not your whole world anymore. And that's okay. You raised them. You gave them your days, your nights, your laughter, your worry. You sat in dark rooms while they had fevers. You worked 2 jobs to pay their tuition. You kissed their foreheads when they were too tired to pray. And then they grew up, as they should. They moved out. They built lives, homes, families of their own. Now they visit for Thanksgiving, maybe. Call on birthdays, sometimes. And while you love them more than breath itself, you've started to feel something quiet and sharp, the ache of emotional emptiness. But here's the beautiful, liberating truth. This is not the end. This is the invitation to begin again. Because life after 60 is not about waiting around for someone else to fill your calendar. It's about picking up the pen and writing the chapter no one else can write but you. You are still someone. You are still becoming. You still matter. Join a local senior group, not just to pass time, but to build a tribe. People your age who know the same aches, laugh at the same memories, remember the same music. Step into a space where you are not mom or dad, but you, your stories, your voice, your rhythm. Volunteer. Not to feel needed, but to remember that you still have something to give. Read to kids at the library. Plant trees. Pack lunch bags for the shelter. Every action whispers back to your spirit, you are not done yet. And if you feel brave enough, share your life. Start a blog. Record videos. You think your life isn't interesting? Think again. You've survived love, loss, heartbreak, joy, war, peace, births, funerals. People need your wisdom. The world is starving for the kind of stories only you can tell. Or do something beautifully ordinary. Learn to bake the cake your mother used to make. Paint flowers even if they look like broccoli. Pick up a guitar and strum a single chord until it sings. Because joy doesn't knock. You have to build a door and invite it in. And if you're thinking, it's too late for me, let me be the voice that says, no, it's not. Not today, not ever. Not as long as your heart still beats and your breath still rises. So let me ask you right now, what's one small thing you can start doing for your life, not anyone else's? Let me know in the comments. Or if you're still searching for words, you can simply write this. After 60, I choose to build a life beyond my children. That single sentence might be the first stone in a brand new path. And if this message has moved you, please take a moment to like this video, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs this reminder. Your support, through a super thanks or just a comment, helps this message reach those quietly waiting for hope. Because this is the truth. Your life is still yours, and your joy is not behind you. It's just waiting for you to come find it. Now stay with me, because in the final part of this journey, we'll bring it all together. We'll talk about how these 4 truths, when lived fully, can turn your later years into your golden years, not just in name, but in spirit. Let's finish this together. So now that we've walked through the 4 cornerstones of a truly fulfilling life after 60, let's take a moment, a breath, and ask the question beneath it all. Why do so many seniors give everything? Why do they sign over homes, drain savings, offer their time, their energy, their health, sometimes until there's nothing left? The answer is quietly heartbreaking, because they think being needed means being loved. It's subtle, almost invisible. We confuse being useful with being valued. We think, if I give more, they'll come around more. If I help enough, they'll stay longer. If I sacrifice, maybe they'll see me. But here's the truth no one wants to say out loud. Love that has to be bought was never love to begin with. True love doesn't need gifts. It doesn't need inheritance. It doesn't need you to prove anything. It simply wants your presence, your laughter, your stories, your smile. And if someone only calls when they need help, financial help, emotional help, physical help, you have to ask yourself, is this connection or just convenience? Because here's the deeper danger. If you raise your children by giving them everything, you may raise adults who expect everything. They don't mean to take you for granted. Life moves fast, and sometimes they forget that the one holding the family together all these years still needs holding too. But it's your job now, not theirs, to draw the line. Not out of anger, but out of wisdom. You're not a wallet. You're not a servant. You're a soul who deserves peace. You deserve mornings that don't start with worry, conversations that aren't filled with requests, visits that aren't followed by guilt. You deserve to be loved as you are, not for what you give, but for who you are. And maybe that starts today with one internal shift. I will no longer prove my worth through sacrifice, because the truth is, your worth was never something to be proven. It's something to be honored, cherished, protected. So if this message stirred something inside you, some memory, some ache, some quiet recognition, please share this video with someone who needs to hear it. A friend, a neighbor, even your adult child. You never know whose life a single truth might change. And remember, the most powerful kind of love isn't the one that empties itself to earn attention. It's the one that stands tall in silence and says, I am enough, just as I am. We're almost there. In our final few moments together, we'll pull everything we've learned into one final truth, a closing chapter full of light, clarity, and a promise that it's never too late to begin again. So where do we go from here? We've journeyed together through truth, pain, rediscovery, and now it's time to take action. Because knowing what matters is powerful, but doing something about it, that's where your life begins to change. Let's bring it all into focus. 4 sacred pillars that form the map to a truly fulfilling life after 60. First, heal the bond with your partner or with yourself. Start by having a real conversation. One honest moment at the kitchen table. Or, if you're alone, write a letter to your past self. Say the things you've never dared to say. Forgive. Apologize. Remember who you are beneath the noise. Second, protect your financial and physical independence. This week, review your accounts. Ask yourself, is everything in my control? If not, reclaim it. Take one small step. Make a budget, meet a financial advisor, or research safer housing options. Freedom isn't a feeling, it's a plan. Third, make your health your daily devotion. You don't need a gym. You don't need a trainer. You just need to move today. 10 minutes, gentle stretches, a walk around the block, cook a meal from scratch, drink more water than coffee. It sounds small, but over time, these habits become armor and wings. Fourth, build a life beyond your children. Pick up that hobby, sign up for a local group, call the community center, open a notebook and start writing your life story. Make a list of 10 things you've always wanted to do, but never gave yourself permission to. Then pick one, just one. Start today. And if you're wondering whether it's too late, let me remind you of this. It's never too late to begin again, especially for yourself. So right now, if even one line in this video made your heart pause, whisper this promise to yourself, or better yet, type it into the comments. After 60, I will live a truly fulfilling life on my own terms. Your voice matters, and when others see your words, it might just give them the courage to begin too. If this video has touched you, please take a moment to like, subscribe, and consider leaving a super thanks to support this message reaching others who need it. You never know who's sitting in silence, just waiting for someone to say, you can still live fully. And don't keep this truth to yourself. Share it. Send it to a friend, a parent, a neighbor. We all deserve to feel seen, because this journey we're on, it's not about chasing the life we used to have. It's about creating the life we still can, and that begins now. If you've made it this far, then I know something about you. You're not just watching, you're awakening. You've felt the truth in your bones, that after 60, life doesn't have to shrink. It can open, it can stretch, it can surprise you. You've lived through enough to know pain, but you've also lived through enough to know how powerful healing can be, if you choose it. Maybe today, for the first time in a long time, you saw yourself in a new light, not just as someone's parent, not just as someone aging, but as a whole soul with stories still unfolding, with strength still rising, and with joy still within reach. And maybe, just maybe, you've realized this simple, sacred truth. After 60, I will live a truly fulfilling life because I deserve to. Type that in the comments. Say it out loud. Let your voice be the first step in claiming the life you still want. And while you're there, tell me, which of these 4 truths spoke to you the most? Or what's one thing you'll start doing today to make your life more your own? Your answers might light a path for someone else who's still stuck in silence. And if this message touched something in your heart, please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and if you feel called to, leave a super thanks. Your support helps this community grow so that more people like you can find their way back to themselves. And we're just getting started. In the next video, we'll explore something even deeper. What to do when guilt keeps you tied to toxic family patterns after 60. It's powerful and it's personal. I don't want you to miss it. Also, what would you like to hear more about? More stories on self-worth, on health, relationships, spiritual peace? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We read everyone, and this channel is here to serve you. Until then, never forget, you are not too old. You are not too late. You are not invisible. You are still worthy of a life that feels full, free, and truly yours. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next chapter.